When you're buying and building the best of the best mecha model kits, you want yourself the best of the best mecha model kit displays. Now when it comes to displaying something like a Gundam, nothing really does beat a hangar, does it? It just has that real Gundam feel. And until now, the reigning king of hangar displays was Kotobukiya's chain base. This is a fantastic model kit, don't get me wrong, but it does have a whole host of issues. It's a little bit on the janky side, it's a little bit on the pricey side, and the absolute worst issue of all is you can't really get it anymore, which means you're looking at third-party sellers, which makes it incredibly expensive, or recasts, which makes it a little bit sketchy. Also, as it stands when it comes to Kotobukiya's chain base, it is a little bit on the kind of stagnant side when it isn't lit up nicely. Right out of the box, you'll have to add a little bit of paint, some detailing, some lighting to really make it pop. Now again, I love the chain base. Nothing will ever replace that. But today I'm going to be looking at something that is just cool out of box and only costs around $14 or €12. And that is this right here, the LED hanger base by Wonder Way. Now, I've seen this over and over and over again being posted by Japanese modelers, and I was like, what is that cool LED lit base? Is it something custom? Is it not? No, it is this right here, and I was absolutely blown away to find out that it costs only about €12.80 is how much it cost me on Buy. So if you don't want to find one of your own, that's where I got mine. They're actually kind of hard to find right now because they constantly keep going out of stock, and for good reason. Now, there is multiple colors, bare plastic, painted versions in a gray, but the main aspect here is the fact that these have LEDs. And not just that, they are powered by USB-C, so no goddamn batteries required. That is amazing. Now, this can be built up using multiples, but I did have a little bit of trouble sourcing more than two. I've had this one right here for quite some time. I've used it in the background of some videos, but on its own, it's not really big enough, especially for a 1/100 kit. Well, by that I mean for filming. Popping this in here, it is still a very nice little display. Now, from above, this does look a little better than what you're seeing from the dead-on angle, because from this dead-on angle, it kind of makes it look like the Gundam is taller than it, which is, well, it's not. But I'm going to throw this one in the mix and see what happens. Let's get it unboxed. So when it does come to what's inside the box, it's an incredibly simple setup. It just opens up like that. As you can see, you can use multiple for a larger kind of setup. This is what I'm going to be going for right here. This is kind of like using two kits. That's using two kits as well if you want to separate little areas for them. But also there seems to be slots up top in case you want to maybe stack it a little higher. I've been really curious as to how big you can actually stack one of these up, but sadly I've just got the two today. From there on out, it's just bags like this of the parts. Super simple, slides out like so. This is the painted version, so you do have a kind of a little bit of a gray paint finish on this. That's what the bare plastic would look like, so it's not a whole lot different. It diffuses the light a little bit softer than bare plastic, I assume, but overall extremely nice. The wires, those are contained inside of it, so you don't really see them per se, and this is the bit of wiring you will have to do just in the bottom of it, but it's very simple. It's just plug and go. So you get 4 of these little wall sections. They're identical as far as I can tell, so there isn't a front section and a side section like you'd see with the chain base, which I do find a little bit on the awkward side, so that is nice. There is the 4th one. I'm just gonna, out of curiosity, see, do these attach top to bottom? They definitely do, so it seems like you'd be able to make yourself an even taller kind of hanger out of them. Underneath this bit of foam then is the bottom section, which is this right here, so it's decently large. There we go. Actually, let me just throw this against the measuring bit here. It is 16 centimeters on each edge. So 16 and 16. As you can see, we do have 2 LEDs in this section as well. So it does light from below a little bit. The paintwork is extremely nice. Simple, but nice. And there is the rest of the wiring. Besides that, then you get a little bag in here, which also includes an additional wire, which is for attaching 2 of these guys together. Some of these little sticky tape bits for holding the wire in place, and these little guys for clipping the bits together. So simple as that. Easy and effective. And again, the price is ridiculous, considering you'll never need any batteries. So the setup here is very simple. The lights go to the front. You could build this as one tiny little unit if you want, but you would need 2 of these kits. You only kind of get the right angle out of one of them. I'm going to be using this as the left side, so I'm going to be building this one up as a right-hand side. And again, all of these panels right here are exactly the same, so you don't actually have to do well, you don't have to pay attention to where they go. You pop the wire under and through, just like so. Plug this in, and then on the bottom, you just work this wire around to where you need it to go. And there we go, boom, I've already hit a wall and found out a second wall. So first off, the cable is not long enough to reach all the way to where it plugs in when you try to build the wall on the right-hand side of the front. That is a bit of an issue, definitely. The second issue is it does definitely say inside of the manual right here, just up on the top, that you cannot build this up vertically. So if you do want this built like this, you cannot. Even though, you know, the plug holes are there, so technically, physically you can, but it seems like you are limited by the length of the wire. There is no wire extension included in here. This one right here is just for attaching to them together. You can't extend this actual wire, so what am I gonna do? So yeah, there is a difference between all of these guys right here. I thought there wasn't. There is one of these that has a longer wire than the rest, so we're going to try that out and see how it does work out. If you're good with wiring, well, it's a simple enough thing to do. You can, of course, extend these and then you can stack them as high as you want. Nobody can tell you what you can do or not. But anyway, where were we? I was trying to attach this, was it as the rear wall back here? So send the wire through, attach these little bits in. There we go. Does it reach? Yes, it does. This isn't actually where I wanted to put it in, but it will definitely reach either way. Alright, so now we're cooking with fire. We've got some of this tape right here to basically neaten up your wires on the bottom so they're not flopping around the place. And so they won't get damaged when you're moving this around. We've got some recesses to pop these through. Tape them in exactly as the other parts are. And you can get this nice and neat and under control. And there we go. There's them all wired up, kept nice and neat. So they are a little bit wiggly out of box, but we do have some little attachment bits. The attachment bits come inside of this box right here, and we've got a whole bunch of them. Now, I will mention, I've had the one that I have right here for quite a little while, and these do tend to work their way off. So if you just pop this on, it just kind of slots in like so. I do find eventually they kind of end up popping, so you might want to consider cementing or gluing them in place. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to go with the way that it is, but they can pop out occasionally. When it comes to the corners, we've got some corner attachments. They just pop in exactly the same kind of way to hold the corner together. And we do have two of those. Now, these ones are, well, they're quite secure if you get them attached on properly. There we go. So now the attempt to get two of these together. So it's going to look a little bit something like that right there when complete. So once again, getting down to the bottom of these to connect them together. All right, so again, these two bases connected just involves two things. That's getting it wired up first. You throw the wire into one of these little sections just like so. And then over into this section like this. All right, so I'm assuming now with these little clips, you should be able to clip these together down here too. Yeah, it seems like the exact same sort of way. As for their holding potential, I think it's a little bit minimal right out of box. So again, I would probably recommend giving these a little bit of glue or cement if you really, truly want this to hold together while you're moving it around. Ooh, I lost a bit. So there it is, finally all set up. Again, this is 2 sets, so this will put you back about €25 or $28 therein, depending on the exchange rates. Right now, it's absolutely great, so it's the best time to do it. So now all you need to get this lit up is a USB-C cable. Mine's just running right off my laptop, so let's just turn this around. It just attaches into one of these just like so. You're probably able to do one or the other. There is a switch right here. I'm not going to turn that on just yet. We'll do that while it's pointing towards the camera. So that is it with the lights off, and the switch is a simple on-off switch that does that right there. All right, so let's get all of those lights in the background off, some of them off. There's the other ones, and hit that one right there. So that is pretty much what you're going to get. That is a nice display. Overall, I have to say I'm ridiculously impressed by this right here. I only got one of them. Well, I tried to order two before, but I only got the one. But I just wanted it just to see what it was like. It looked cool in pictures, so I was like, I'll give it a go. I never really intended to do a video about it, but it is such a nice option, and it is so cheap that I just kind of had to show it. If you're looking for something really cool to display your gunpla in, this is it right here. They say you can't stack it up any higher, but that's probably without some modification to lengthen the wires. They may make more in future, these things. I've seen them all over the place. They're just that cool. The overall design on the surface of each of the panels is nice. It's not just flat and plain, it's recessed. The fact that it is see-through is an interesting aspect too, so it means you can put it up against something depending on what you want and light that too and end up with a kind of multi-layered kind of look. I usually pop mine beside Kotobukiya chain base or inside of the Kotobukiya chain base. I have done so multiple times in reviews, not that often, but often enough. But this right here could just be thrown up on a shelf as a display in and of itself. It's not hard to get some kind of power supply or plug or something like that for using with USB-C, so this is so much better than batteries. Batteries always sicken me because they're great at first, then they start to get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and then you have to replace them over time. Such a mess. Absolute mess. This right here, just out of box, just looks incredible. Again, that right there is a master grade sized kit. If you got something a little bit smaller, like a high grade, of course, this is going to look like it's in an absolutely huge hangar. Again, you could pop 2 more on front if you wanted some depth, and with this price point, I do not see why not. That just looks perfect. Anyway, once again, like I mentioned, I did get mine right here through Buy. You'll find them on there. I'll pop the term to search down there in the description, just so you can search for them. They're kind of rare now compared to what they were once, but if you can find them, I recommend totally going for them, especially at their base price. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. That narrative Gundam review is coming very, very soon. I just wanted to pop something in the meantime, and I was getting this right here ready for that review. And I thought it'd be cool to make a quick video about it because I highly, highly recommend it. Anyway, as always, well, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I can't end this video right here without the usual thanks, saying thank you so much for watching. This video and this channel would not be possible without each and every single one of you, including those of you who support me over on the channel memberships and on Patreon, including Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Go Little Rockstar, Joe, Org59061, Shadow Wolf 179, 10 Soldier YT, and Van Fawn.